Good evening. It's 1 p.m. I'm in Golden Ears Provincial Park, and today we're going to be climbing Mount Nutt. First time I did this hike was in May. I didn't see a lot of people there in May. It's October now. I don't expect to see a lot of people here either. This is what I'd like to call a training hike, a high effort and lower reward hike. The views are fantastic, but there's not many of them. So without further ado, please join me up on Mount Nutt. East Canyon Trail is where you start on Mount Nutt. This is just some of the most rich and wet, yes, very wet forests around. And the views here are just stellar because it just gives you this classic feel of BC rainforests. So I'm coming up to the end of the East Canyon Trail and the start of the Mount Nutt Trail. And how I know that is because start to hear a creek starting to get louder. And if you turn around here, and despite having a creek running directly through the trail, the East Canyon Trail is very well maintained. It's a very open trail. I'm definitely gonna come back here in winter time to do some snowshoeing, because at the end of some of these East Canyon Trail routes are some beaches along the river. It just rained really hard for the last 4 days, but I've never seen something like this on a trail before. I can now check off my list that I've scrambled up a waterfall, because this is just hilarious. Alright, not gonna lie here, I'm feeling a little funny after hitting the big hill. Hiking through the clouds here, I am generating sweat. I am perspiring very hard. We've now opened up to what I think is called like Raccoon Pond or something like that. So we have just entered Scary Town. Super foggy up here. The woods feel super tight, super cramped and wet. The ground is soft and mushes beneath my feet. So I decided to take the harder path. The first time I came here in May, I did take the easier path. But here I am now at the first viewpoint. You can't really see much because of the heavy cloud cover. But you know, this is what it would kind of look like if there wasn't any clouds. Leaving the viewpoint now, I'm gonna be heading back into a more gradual uphill. So just shy of the South Peak, there's a little rope section here. You can just kind of, you know, rope's got a little bit too much flex. I don't like the feel of it, but just kind of do that to get over. We are very lucky today as the view has come out. And once you're on this ridge walk, it kind of looks like on a map, this walk kind of goes on forever. And this is a newer trail too. I think it was built in around 2014, which would make it newer for the Golden Ears area. I wonder if someone would build a trail that makes this into a big loop, because the East Canyon Trail is running parallel to me on my left. And then when you're done the North Mount Nutt summit, it looks like you could maybe make a real steep path that reconnects to the East Canyon Trail. Could be kind of cool. And coming out of the woods here, bam, what's that behind me? Robbie Reed, check that out. This is one of the best views you can get of Robbie Reed in this area. And upon reaching this viewpoint, I made the decision I don't really think I want to continue. The final path to the south and the north peak of Mount Nutt is heavily overgrown. I'm just loving this view of Robbie Reed, eating my rice cakes. I think this is a good place to call it. So, thank you for joining me on this adventure. Perhaps I will return to finish the 2 peaks. But for now, thank you for joining me.